live. Hello, good evening, everyone. The slide always blinds me. I don't know why I do this. Oh, I know why I do this. It's because I don't fix it ever. And anyway, it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's not really me that's the issue. It's the glasses reflection. Yes, hello, good evening. We have an active chat world already, so welcome. Welcome, friends. I almost forgot that I had a video schedule today because I was napping earlier, as one does. You know, as one does. And I woke up and my little calendar reminder went off, and I was like, good thing I set that 2-hour reminder. So here we are. I have spent the last little bit setting up a camera. I was also adjusting my color here. So the new thing, okay, I like this education that I'm receiving here. The new thing is a new little camera, and so let's see if it helps me not have things in my face. Like usually the clamp comes in front. Anyway, I hope you are all doing well. It is almost the end of January already. I don't know what's happening. It's just going way too fast. And yeah, John, to answer your question, yes. So I did talk to Ian about my design. I think the only reason it's not been done yet is, as we will talk about, is that the monoc is not inexpensive to produce. And so it would be a very limited crowd. But I'm like, we could just pre-order it, Ian. We could do this. It'll happen. So anyway, welcome. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Today, or this evening, this night, I want to talk about the monoc. And it's for several reasons. So if you're new here, the monoc nib is a fairly recent development from schondsgn out of Philadelphia. It's machined out of one piece of titanium, out of a thick rod of titanium. And he also machines the feed in Ultim to fit each nib. So each feed is fit to each nib, not just like a whole bunch of nibs are made and a whole bunch of feeds are made and they're just popped together. It's like each one is made. So it is a strenuous process. And then Ian tunes each nib himself and grinds each nib himself. So we're going to look at them, but I've gotten many, many questions from many people about this nib. So some of the things that I get asked are, is it worth it? Because it's not an inexpensive nib. And what's so great about it? Now, this is entirely subjective. So I'm going to do this. The first thing I'm going to do is write down, I think, the main questions that I get, and then we'll kind of go through the nibs that I have, and I can talk about it a little bit. So I'm going to say probably the most important one I get, and the most frequent is it worth it? So to give you an idea, this nib is $385 US at the base level. So we will talk about that. No, it is not inexpensive. And John, hold that thought, because I want to think about that. Secondly, what's so great about it, or what is not so great about it? For me, being someone who is sharing this in a positive way, I would interpret this as what's so great about it. And then I can't remember the last thing I said. Does anybody remember? Anyway, I'll leave that there. I'll leave that there because this will inevitably lead to other things. So I know this looks really gross. I know I have a lot of monocs here. This is over several years, and some of them I have bought secondhand or borrowed from someone, a friend or two, and just never returned them. John asks, what do you call a group of monocs? I love that question. I love that. So, an Aziza of monocs, a monarchy of monocs. We need to focus on this. We need time on this. Somebody please remember all of these that are happening and text them to me. or like DM them to me, just something. We're going to talk about all this. So the first monoc, oh wait, maybe the first thing I should do is this. I know a lot of you are already experienced with the monoc. I just saw, hang on, I just saw somebody's comment. Mike, you tried your first monoc at the Philly show and now you own 3 of them. Oh yeah, it happens. It happens fast. So, I thought I had done this, but now I'm thinking maybe I had not done this. We are gonna do, I'm gonna show you this. Wherever it is. Oh, why is it not showing me? Okay. Well, it worked 5 minutes ago, and anyway. I was just gonna show you the Schoen Design website. It is schondsgn.com. When he first did the monoc, he designed a kind of like a fine medium. So what I would like to show you is, in approximate order, the shapes that I have gotten. So this is the first one I got, which was like a fine medium. So when it started, it was really a tubular nib. I mean, they still don't have a breather hole. It's a single slit for now. And there you can see the Ultim feed. And if you look at the tipping, it is very, very interesting. It's all in one. Like, it's not added on. It's shaped into it. And part of his idea was that it would give him a lot of control about what he is doing. And also, look at my star. My star is a pink star. And then the top, I have a rainbow, but it's full of ink, so you might not be able to see it. So this was the first one I got. And I'm going to try to roll these off. So this was like a generic, not a generic, but just it was his first launch. It was very scary because it's a big deal. And this was one of the ones that came out of it. So I'm going to put medium because he more specifically releases a fine later. I just looked up at my screen of the software and there's a tiny little bug on my screen and I almost thought it was on my hand. I'm not scared of bugs, but you know. Anyway, nobody cares. This is a very true medium. Now, I don't know if you'll hear this, but I'm going to try. Okay, so one of the things that has been very interesting about the monoc that I've been trying to describe to people is that it's very pencil-like. So if you can hear that, it's just, it's very tactile without being scratchy. So that is one thing. Okay, let me catch up a little bit here. Hello, welcome, Duck Bananas and Petals and Strings. Let me see. Hello, hello. Okay, we're good, we're good. Okay. So that was the first one. And this was, first of all, I wanted to support Ian when he was launching these because I really like that he is doing stuff, you know? We have another nib maker in the room. It may be Strings and Petals. And, you know, even if it was not something that I thought I would immediately use, I would still get it because I want to explore it and be able to share it with you guys. And so this is clearly a fairly fine writer for me. But don't worry, Ian fixes that later on. We remedied that scenario. Okay, so here's another one. This is when he made more of a broad. So I had ordered one on the website and had spoken to him specifically requesting something. So this one has a broader piece of tipping. And he made it more of like a slight fude, like that. So, I hope you could see, but if you can't, I will describe it, that this one is very wet. It's a little smoother. I would say this is a broad, so I would say this is a Western broad. And then in terms of the sound, it's less sharp and to me sounds and feels like more of a traditional fountain pen nib, like a Yovo nib or something. Okay, let me make sure I'm doing these in order, or some kind of order. This one was for a friend, so I do know this does not belong to me. So this one was done at a higher angle for their, sorry, that last one was at a lower angle. This one is a higher angle. So this one at a low-ish angle is very architecty. Bam, mixing these up. This one does not belong to me. The last one belongs to me. So this one, this is not a broad. This is a fine. This is the one. This is one that was done for somebody else. This is what happens when you have too many pens. So let's ignore the fact that I called that broad. When I ordered mine, my friend also got one. So I'm going to do the noise. This one is more pencil-like to me than the broad is. I'm also using a soft graphite. Okay, let me catch up here. What is the frequency of a pencil in hertz? Very, very interesting. I like that. I very much wonder. Okay. What have I done? I should have left the caps off so I can see what I'm doing. Have I done this one yet? No, I haven't. Okay. So this was another one of the original mediums. This one was very wet. So when you buy them at a show, you can actually look through the nib options for the most part. Like, you will get a selection, and you can look through them. And I know I have a friend who recently bought one where she tried the tester. Sorry. And the tester was amazing, so she bought the same grind, which was the fine cursive italic, which we will look at. And then when she went and inked it up, it wasn't the same. Like, it just was not flowing the same, writing the same. And I mentioned this last stream, and so she actually went back to Ian, and they worked it out. So if you're able to purchase something this valuable in person, it's really, it's ideal, because you can work it out with the person who designed it. Strings and Petals actually recently posted a poll in her Instagram asking if people would prefer to be able to buy her nibs at pen shows or online. And I selected at pen shows because for something so special and valuable, I think the experience of getting it in person is well worth it. And it's just something to, I mean, of course, it's not just buying the unit. You have to go to the show, you're paying for a hotel and flights and all of that. But that's the best time to do it, because you're diluting the cost of your valuable goods, just saying. This is one of the first ones, very pencil-like. I thought they were in order. I'm sorry. Even though they're pencil-like, they're very soft. Like, sorry, smooth. Not soft. They are not soft. Don't listen to that word that I just used. Okay, this is one near the end. This one is near the end. Okay, so that was medium broads. Up to this point, what we can note is these are hard nibs, okay? So even a Yovo, so here I've got a Franklin Christoph music nib Yovo just because it was handy dandy. Even something like this, not ideal to do this, but even if you did apply pressure, you do get some movement to it. The monoc is like rock solid. So you could apply pressure, nothing is really happening. You're just pushing into the page. You may squeeze out a tiny bit more wetness, but it's a firm nib. So for me, who really, really likes very juicy, bouncy, soft, wet nibs. This was wild to me because I did not think I would like it as much as I did. I thought, okay, I'm going to appreciate this because it's cool, but I am going to, like, I'm not going to love it. I'm not going to be crazy about it. Anyway, it turns out I was crazy about it. Okay, so next one I got, this was not in order. No, I already did this one. That goes up in there. So the next batch that he released, Doug, you're currently working with Ian on your monoc cursive italic. It doesn't work like the ones you tried at the show. I'm kicking myself for not inking up at his table and trying out. I don't know if Pertinax is typing in the chat, but she did a bit of troubleshooting herself, which might be helpful. So some of the things that she did was she used a cartridge. She tried a converter. I would say even... Doug, what pen are you using it in? And are you eyedroppering or are you doing like cartridge converter? Just let me know because I'm curious about that too. The next one that I discovered from Ian was actually his fine nib. And this is, he lent me a fine nib when I was writing an article about him for Pen World. So the idea was he loaned it to me because I had the other ones, like these ones up here. Like I had these. He loaned me the fine, and I wrote the article and focused a little bit on the fine release. And then after it was done, I refused to send it back, so I had to buy it from him. So that's what happened. And so a friend has that one because I am very nice. It's not because I'm nice. It's just because they're allowed to use it for a bit. But this is the one I bought at a pen show. This one is my first anodized. And so this is another thing that Ian does that adds to the price. So the base monocs with just the shiny titanium, those are $385. The anodization starts at including or adding like $25 and up, depending on the complexity of the anodization. So this is one of the more normal ones where it's just a gradient. This one is strawberry lemonade. Obviously, I was going to purchase this immediately. These are two of my jams. And if we look at the tipping shape, it has a bit of an architect, a tiny little architect on the back. So let's do this one. This would have been several, I don't know, like 3 years ago. This is an actual fine. I would even dare call it a Western extra fine. And on the back, an absolutely exquisite little architect. And so very, very smooth, very nice. And the fine also incredibly smooth with that pencil-like sound and feel. I did not realize this was off, so sorry. Definitely got that pencil-like feel. But despite the fineness of the regular side, it's not catching the page. It's not like cutting into the page. So for me, this was 100% worth it. I thoroughly enjoy this. And yes, all of my monocs are eyedroppered. Doug, you're using the aluminum pocket 6? Okay. Using the cartridge. Okay, the first thing I would do is... What cartridge? What ink? Do you know what it is? I would change your ink and I would try a converter. I know that sounds insane, but I would just try it because you're just troubleshooting. And also it's kind of fun. It's fun to explore. And then if you're able, if you have a pen you can eyedropper it in, I would try to eyedropper it. But also still talk to Ian. And also you don't have to listen to me at all. I'm just excited about the fact that you have one, but would also love for you to love it the way you love the tester. Very important. And this is such a high touch product. And it's so, I mean, it is expensive, it's valuable, but it's high touch. And it should be, in the end, it should be perfect. And because he does every single one individually, like by hand, and he's tuning and adjusting each one, there's always a little bit of variation. And even when you go to a nibmeister, even if you give them 5 nibs and say, I want stubs in all of them, there's going to be a tiny bit of variation in all of them. And there has to be, because they're human, right? And there's going to be something. But it's important that he will get it to the point that you're happy with it. So that is comforting. So here we go. I have 3 more to show you. And I would say the last 3, well, actually, it's really just the 2 of them here, are probably the ones that knocked my socks off most significantly. So let's discuss these. Once we have gone through these, we can kind of examine my thoughts about, is it worth it and what's so great about it. So this one, actually both of these came out DC, I guess? No, I don't remember what show it was. These are the stubs. These are so mega... No, Baltimore? I don't know. Please somebody help me. Please help. These are so chonkadonk. They are so redonk. I am obsessed. I mean, I'm obsessed anyway, and so I'm not the best judge of this. What is interesting about these is, to me, I don't know if you know this about me, if you're new here, or if you just don't know this because I haven't talked about it in a while. Music nibs for fountain pens is kind of what got me into serious nibbage and fountain pens and the insanity of nibs. That was my gateway. And so one of the things about music nibs is that the vintage style, you write at a high angle because that gives you the broadest set of tipping, and it allows you to make fast lines, fast movements if you're writing music. Obviously these are vintage because clearly I'm not sitting here writing music. The stub nib mimics that. So the tipping straight down is like, if you look straight down at it, it's shaped like this. And there's the slit in the middle. Like, it is basically a block, and it's absolutely wild. I do agree with you. Kirkspear is not human. So the stub, when I tried the stub tester at his table, it took me like 2 seconds, and not even. I put it to the page, and as soon as I raised the angle, I was like, yep, that's it, I'm taking it. So only one of these are mine, don't worry. So at the lower angle, you have a stub, and the cross strokes are actually quite narrow, which is remarkable. And I would almost describe this as like a smooth cursive italic, just because the variation is so significant. At the high angle, it is so ridiculous. First of all, you got like maximizing your gravity and capillary action here, because it's straight up and down insanity. And I always pair them with pens that are relatively small, so easy to manipulate. The feeds are Ultim. All of the monocs have Ultim feeds. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Pertnux, for that answer. That is really helpful. Yes. And so these are Yovo threaded. Ian has alluded to doing Bach threaded at some point, but for now, I think Yovo is more popular in North America in terms of, like, we have so many custom pens, like custom pen makers using Yovo threading. And so for now, I think it's okay. I really hope I do not need another one. So I'm hoping I can resist should it happen when it happens. So the stub, let's do the sound test. So at a high angle, it sings a little bit. And so one of the things that Ian told me about this particular release was he was really nervous because not everybody would be able to use it comfortably or understand how to use it. Not because there's something wrong with us. It's more that it's very specific. And this is really more of one of the fun releases, like not really sensible, you know? Like you could write with an extra, or like with a fine or a medium. But who is writing with this? Well, I am. Okay. And then very, very, very interesting. To me, this is so interesting. And obviously to some of us too. Do I find it slightly dry? Absolutely not. But all of mine are eyedroppered. I do think, so this is one of the things that Pertnex had as well, where her feed was not being fully saturated. There was an air bubble from the cartridge and non-dipped converter plus of a couple tweaks. I'm not sure what the last part means, but eyedroppering, listen, eyedroppering is the solution for everything. Don't waste your time with cartridges. Just ink it up and do it. If you are eyedroppering and you're using something like the pens that Ian designs, there should be O-rings in the threads for you. If you are using these pens and you're using a converter, you don't actually need or want this O-ring. So if you're using these and having trouble, talk to Ian and he will guide you through it. Oh no, the Bach 380 Ultim section. Oh, I have very, very few 380 nibs, so I'm a little bit safe. What can be compared to the normal side of the stub? Okay, so I have a Franklin Christoph music nib here. Let's look at even the low angle, which does not maximize that blocky straight down tipping. I don't know what the grid size of Hobonichi is, but there is the stub. And then the Franklin Christoph music nib is 1.9 millimeters. So if we do it right below it, I mean, I have calipers somewhere, but I'm not going to dig them out because I don't know exactly where. No, you do not eyedropper your aluminum pens. That is a good point. I'm just referring to his Ultims. I'm going to guess that is a 1.5 or something. The stub would probably be like a 1.5. But it is a delectable, blocky, round, like blocky chunk 1.5, not just a 1.5 and that's it. So, does that make sense? No, it's just a delightful experience. Did I write with the back of the Mondo stub? What is the Mondo stub? The stub. Did I write with the back? No, I did not. You can. It is a very... It's not scratchy. It's dry. And if you need... Sometimes you might need this because you might not want... you might not want super mega juicy all the time. So it does shrink the writing significantly because you're not getting that generous ink flow. That is also fair. I don't know why I like Ultim. It's really bizarre. Oddly enough, I actually like the disgusting weird beige more. But you could also eyedropper your maker pens, and then you don't even have to worry about O-rings at all. Or something. Hello, Charis. Thank you so much for joining. Yellow nicotine stained plastic. Well, that's fair. But you could get like a pretty blue. This is the sapphire. Look how pretty that is. And you could put your monoc in there. It's so pretty. Okay, and then let me write with the reverse of the other stub, which is pretty much the same. Okay, we've got one more to glance at, write with. And if you guys have technical questions, I am definitely not the person to answer them, but I have written a full article about them. I did lots of research and I talked to Ian. So if you would like a copy of it, I have it somewhere. I could share it somehow. Like maybe I'll put it on my blog so you could download it and read it. It's a PDF. Or I could just post it in my stories and you could just like screenshot or something. Okay, last but not least, we have the most recent edition. The recent edition came about for the Philly Pen Show, and Ian Schoen, being the swanky nib tease that he is, posted a writing sample on his Instagram He called it a fine stub, but we all discovered, Ian himself discovered at the show, that this is not actually a stub. It's like a cursive italic. So this is my second anodized one. I actually only plan to get the plain one because it's $3.85 instead of like $4.25. But then I saw this one, and this is kind of my color palette right now, like yellowy green. And so I saw this. I put it down for a split second to ask Ian a question. Somebody else bought it. I bought the one that was right next to it. And then I later discovered, wait a minute, this was not the one that I picked up. And it just didn't occur to me. And then I had a small nervous breakdown and swapped with the person who bought the other one. So my life is so thrilling. Thank you to that person. So the fine cursive italic, I would say, actually rivals the stub in terms of cool factor. So on the regular side, it is actually a fine, and it is a cursive italic. It has a little bit of crispness without being scratchy, and more importantly, it has great variation. So okay, and the contrast is pretty significant. And on the back side, you have, oh, you're not going to see this because the ink is so light. Sorry. But I'm going to write it anyway. And then we'll look up close. The back side is also like the fine with a bit of an architect. So let's take a look at the two options. So if you look at the fine cursive italic, you can see that it is pretty, the edges are pretty crisp and clean. What ink is this? I don't actually know, but this does not seem like the right ink. Oh, I know. It's one of the new Sailor Magnos, one of their dual shaders. Not a great idea, as it turns out, but yeah, it's a Sailor. It is that one. Spring green. It is very much a spring green. You are right, Joan. And I like this kind of ink, like this kind of color has been my palette as of late. And so it just felt really fitting for me. But I think this one is an absolute knockout. Just like myself. No, I'm just kidding. So in terms of regular writing, it works best when you align the nib straight on. And so that's one of the things that I wanted to say to kind of answer the question of wherever it is. What's so great about it? Is it worth it? For people who say, well, I tried it, I don't like it, it just doesn't work for me. That's totally fine. It's totally valid. I think one of the reasons it doesn't work for everybody is because it performs best. They all perform best when you write straight on the page. And so if you're an oblique writer, I mean, it'll still work. It'll definitely still work because I'm oblique writing just like this. But it does change the way you're drawing out the grind a little bit. So I think that's just one option as to why people might not like it as much. Hello, oblique. Goodbye, oblique. I know there's a question. I will answer it. Just 1 second. Goodbye, oblique. Fountain pendulum. This is a cursive italic instead of a stub because it was ground more. Yes, correct. So a stub will be smoother in the changes. Like there's less contrast and it's less crisp. So a cursive italic is actually smoother than a crisp italic, which is really sharp and you have to be really careful about how you're aligning the nib. But a stub is quite generous. So let me show you here. This is the Franklin Christoph music nib. It does not have tipping, but the ends, the edges are quite soft. Like they're not crispy edges, whereas if I did this with a crisp italic, it would cut into the page. So it's really generous and forgiving. The cursive italic is one step less generous and forgiving, and the crisp italic is not forgiving or generous. Your cursive in reverse with a very light touch comes. Ooh. I mean, it also depends. So I actually also looked at all the tippings when I was picking this one before somebody else picked it up and bought it. And so you can kind of see there's a little bit of variation as well. It's really interesting that he does this. So, let me see here. Hello, Simone. Welcome. Okay, I'm going to play with them a little bit. So, one of the things we can look at, like one of the things I like to think about when thinking, is this worth it? There's a lot. So, this is not just I mean, there's years and years of research and development that have gone into these nibs, and I mean, it's just like anything. There's costs to it. The material, like I even though the material is, from what I understand, he talks about the titanium choice and why he selected this particular grade. So he says grade 5 titanium. I don't think it's like, I wouldn't say the value of the nib is the material alone, and that's just fun because you get to do fun things like anodize it. I would say it is supporting the creation behind it and the research and development. And sometimes if you go to a show, Ian will show you all the prototypes that he has been working on, like specifically for a new launch. But he's also got prototypes from like the very beginning. So he's been iterating, and yeah, is $385 a lot? Absolutely. Is this attainable for everyone? It is not. And this is really, like, for me, this is my hobby. So, I mean, I don't really need to justify it. But I want people to understand that to me this is worth it, but it's I can't tell you if it'll be worth it to you. The best thing to do is look at reviews, like look at videos, read reviews. If you can go to a pen show and talk to Ian and try some, amazing. Go to pen meets, try them out. Like, that's the way to discover and explore anything pen related, not anything. Okay, 1 second, I need some water. Good night, Annabelle, love you. Let me see here. Tommy, hold that thought. I will answer that. What's so great about it? I think it's fun. It's new. It's an option for fountain pen lovers, for writing enthusiasts. I mean, what's so great about it is really up to you, like what you enjoy about it. Let me tell you, aside from actually doing ridiculous writing like this, I really enjoy these because the way I have them set up in the nicotine stained yellow plastic and eyedroppered, I get really nice inky generous flow, and I like to do inky messes with them. So I thought we would look at this. We would do the sensible stuff, of writing and exploring the tippings and all that. And then I thought maybe we could just start an inky mess together, because that is the way I use these pens. And so let me get a smaller notebook. And so why not show you the way I use them and show you how I enjoy them, because maybe you'll enjoy them too, So I've got a little B6 notebook. This is the one I took to Philly. I forgot about this. This is where I tried to draw last time. What is that? Okay, let's get a new page. Okay, Tommy asked a question. If I had $1,500 to buy a Mont Blanc, what would I get? I don't know what it costs now, but I would get the Webster, which is a 146, and I had one and I sold it because I needed cash, and I regret it and I miss it so much. So, that's my answer. Shelby, it's not about paying for the nib as a pen user, it's what you paid as an engineer who wants to support Ian's innovation. Exactly. And I will tell you, Ian is an absolute delight. He is such a kind, lovely person that you kind of just want to throw your money at him. Honestly, he's just so sweet and not pushy and willing to help you understand and experience what he's doing and why. And the experience is so pleasant that you almost just want to be like, here, man, here's keep doing what you're doing, because we need options, we need exploration in anything, and this is what we do for like biologists and molecular scientists. We're like, here's a grant, go do research. So unfortunately, pen makers and nib makers don't get sweet government grants. Rather than calling it nicotine stained, how about environmentally stressed plastic? I am also an environmentally stressed item. I'm not plastic though. your cat returns is. I kind of want to scan them and have them be like little stickers, because who would not want, what was this? A guinea pig or a hamster? I can't remember. Like, who would not want these? But my bunnies make sense. Okay, so let me do some example of how I would inky mess this. These do really well in every scenario, and one of the things I love doing with nibs is doing stuff like this, where I spread the ink everywhere and then people wonder, oh my gosh, how do you actually use up your ink? Well, it's because I literally throw it on the page. So I don't know, I'm just winging this. This is one of the ways that I might do an inky mess. I don't know if I have sufficiently answered the question. It is extremely subjective, so of course I'm just kind of giving my perspective. If you have questions or you have any comments, I would love to hear them. Mike, I don't know that I would have bought any monoc, let alone 3 of them, if it wasn't for Ian, his willingness to engage and answer questions, just being an amazing guy. I totally agree. Ian is a jet. We've got some really fantastic people in the pen world. We are really lucky. And that's one of the reasons I want to support them, because I want them to stay in the pen world and I want them to feel supported and loved and wanted and appreciated. So that goes for all of you. I know, it's feelings. I know, it's disgusting. I'm just saying, it's really nice to open up my YouTube and see you guys in the chat waiting. It's really, really lovely. So thank you very much. Now, the first question that may be coming to your head, Gourmet pens, you could do this with a regular nib too. Oh, totally. But Yovo doesn't care if I buy a nib from them. But Ian does. And honestly, I have, aside from the fact that like 35 of my Yovo nibs are broken in some fashion, I don't make a difference to Yovo, but I make a difference to someone like Ian. And hopefully by sharing this with you, even if you don't buy one, even if you just, express your interest or enthusiasm to him and say, hey, Ian, you're doing something really cool. Like, thank you. I guarantee that alone will make a difference to him. So do that if you haven't. Okay, so I kind of created like a little network here. Now let's do some writings. I'm going to fill the little holes with, not holes, I'm going to fill the geometries with words. One of the things I love to also do is use those stupid inks that no one can use because they're so light and illegible. And when I do stuff like this, they blend in with other inks and become visible. So that is a great way to use those stupid inks. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Here's my very fancy technique. It's not fancy at all, but I just want to have like a nice juicy brush. Okay. It does look like the design of another pen sleeve. I think you're right. I have to follow up with the lovely Rickshaw to see where we're at for the next design, because I actually sent in a whole bunch of options and I think they'd be really cool. That'd be really awesome. Sorry. Okay. Okay, let's do that. And I'm tired of doing boundaries, so I'm going to do random snickerdoodling. Hello, Jello. And then we're going to do 7. So when I go to pen shows or like pen meets just locally, I'm insane. And I spend hours and hours and hours picking pens and nibs and inks and then redoing it and repacking it over and over and over and over. Do I have problems? Yes. So one of the ways I have alleviated this significantly for myself was by having all of these inked up eyedroppered. So first of all, I've got lots of ink, and they're eyedroppered. They're inked and ready to go, so I can grab a subset of pens from all my other pens and know I have a bunch ready. So it is comforting to me, and that is helpful actually to have more than one pen nib ink setup. It's weird. I don't know if it's ideal. It's not inexpensive as a setup, but I already have it, so I may as well go with it. Right? And honestly, hours. Hours. I've saved hours. I still do it, just less. Does anybody else do that, or is it just me? It's probably just me. Yeah, it's probably just me. The juicy, bouncing kumquats. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Kumquats. Which are a delicious little citrus, as we know. Okay, this is one of the sailors that I like. I'm thinking it's Neko Yanagi, but I'm not sure. And so I can't actually help you there. Are fountain pens really that special, or is rollerball better for every day? Well, that's actually a very valid question. I would say it depends on what kind of writing you do. Like, if you are, I mean, I guess it depends what you do for what you're using them for. And also what kind of paper you have. If you are at work and you are supplied with basically Kleenex for paper, then in that case, a rollerball might be better. Just because you're not going to really get the enjoyment from a fountain pen. I do think they're special. I really enjoy the experience of writing with a fountain pen. I love sharing the passion for it with others. So it's not, for me, it's not just writing. And I actually am more of a, oh, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm more of an artist with my pens. I do shapes, designs, drawings, doodles, and that is more so how I enjoy my pens. I do a lot of lettering and calligraphy practice. So for me, a fountain pen is a necessity because a rollerball cannot achieve that. Yes, of course, Annabelle, we can. Definitely. Um, Send me a message to remind me because then you'll be at the top of my list and not probably buried where you are right now because that's what happens because you cannot organize your WhatsApp chats, which is very annoying. I do have a couple roller balls and I have a couple ballpoints. I do use them and I very much enjoy them, but I really use fountain pens for fun stuff and I use my ballpoints and roller balls for like taking notes at meetings or just like writing out lists and whatnot, like grocery lists, like stuff like that. I use ballpoints and rollerballs. So fountain pens are my toys, my toys. Okay, so you work in finance. You don't write cursive. And you don't journal. More of a statement piece, but prioritize ease of use. Okay. In that case, I would say a rollerball, even a ballpoint, might be beneficial because you want something that you can activate quickly. So you might want something. I'll just give you an example. It doesn't even have to be a Mont Blanc. Like honestly, here's a Waldman ballpoint. It's beautiful. It comes in different colors. Like they've got like a charcoal and like a lavender. Quick and easy. If you want a roller ball, I have a Mont Blanc. It's relatively affordable. They're like 150, 200 for a Mont Blanc roller ball. It's just a click cap. Really easy as well. And then, you know, they kind of go up from there. They become like, you've got like the twist. And but if you want something more fun and machined, you got like tactile turn. These are really nice and fidgety. I cannot believe this is going to be on record, but I do not frown upon people for using ballpoints and roller balls. I'm just glad that you're writing. That's all. The vanishing point is really cool. They used to make it in a ballpoint, and now they don't. So thanks, Pilot. That would have been really fantastic for many of us, including myself. Okay, we're doing shapes. We're doing doodle stacks. We're stacking our doodles on top of each other. Sometimes I just do lines. I do lines, that's all. Mike, Philly was your first pen show. I hope you enjoyed it. It is a lovely pen show. It is missing some key components, like strings and pedals. That is definitely a factor. And it would be amazing if there was a strings and pedals. But maybe next time. Maybe one day. But it is one of my favorite shows because it is just so peaceful and lovely. Such high quality. It makes me happy. So, congratulations on your first show. I'm really excited for you. I will be at DC. Oh, you won't be able to go to DC. You're in New Jersey. There are surely pen people locally. I don't know anybody in New Jersey necessarily, but I'll ask around. So if you're able to come back, we could touch base and see. Okay, let's see. Yes, you asked about gel pens. So these are both Zebra Sarasa vintage. It's just the color that they call it vintage. They're fantastic. Obviously, because I have two of them. And they write really, really well. Really fast. They're easy. They're heavy. Like, they're robust. For someone who's not really, like, crazy about pens necessarily, but you're looking for something reliable and solid, I would pick these. I would not spend the money on a Mont Blanc. Like, I would get something like this for sure. They're fantastic pens. And also listen to Shelby because he's got good advice there. The expression in inky color. That's very, very funny. That's what we're doing here. Expressing an inky color. And I love that. Very important. Did I say funny? I don't know if I meant funny. It's fun. I don't think I'm going to finish this, but I mean, I'm not going to finish it on stream. Or I might just finish it and we'll just run longer than usual. I don't know. Sorry. Sorry that we're running so long. I'm just so enthusiastic about these nibs and I just really want you to explore them too. Like, they're just so awesome. Okay, that's maybe not very descriptive. They have so much potential. They are so interesting. And they are so deserving of exploration and a second look that I'm excited to share it with you. Okay, let's do some writing up here. Up here. Monoc. Nibbage. We will not be doing other drawings today because I am suitably ashamed of my guinea pig. And the meerkat was decent. The axolotl was not. Clicky, not colicky. Wait, where are my stubs? What have I done with them? Are they here? Okay. Oh, here's one. Okay. Stub. So when people also ask, are you insane? You spent $500 on a nib just to play with it? Yeah. I mean, yeah. Why do you think people buy sports cars? It's not just to be like, oh, this is the most practical item on the planet. No. You buy it to play with it. So if people make you feel bad about playing with your pens, you just tell them, this is my sports car, okay? This is the sports car of pens. This is what everybody wants. We are basically in Formula One. That's what we're doing. We are testing and refining and doing amazing things or something. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't watch Formula One. I just know it can be useful for things. Not to me, but to some things. Okay. What all these nibs do allow me to do is experiment and explore and try my hand at new scripts, I guess, new hands. And so it's just a way for me to not only express myself in color, but also express myself in script. And I really enjoy it. And this is also how I'm able to come up with ideas for workshops or even just like spreads, you know, like if you look at my Instagram, there's different types of scripts and I don't know what any of them are. I just enjoy doing them and playing. That's all I'm doing. I'm just playing around. Okay, so we have a little shape. Let's do another one. Yes, a sports car minus the gasoline and expensive upkeep. That is correct. And let's be honest, you could just put it in your pocket and take it with you. You can enjoy your pen sports car at any moment, whereas you cannot enjoy your car sports car at any moment. So between the two of them, I think it makes more sense to have a bajillion pens. I'm not wrong. None of us are wrong. We're all correct here. We're all right. We're all right. The kids are all right. We're the kids. I'm going to show you one of the things I like to do. Because the monocs are so wet, I kind of do like an ink smear. And because it is not so wet that it's ridiculous, a little bit of it dries and then you get an instant pattern. I bet you did not know you could do that. You can do whatever you want. Okay, I want a bit of ink. Okay. You can do whatever you want, friends. No one is here to tell you what to do except for me. Ink... Sorry. Ink is way more expensive than gas. I mean, I guess it depends on who you are and how you use your ink. And what inks you're buying. Like, if you're getting something cray-cray, then sure. Okay. So, you know, these have been inked and re-inked with the same colors for the last... Well, like, since I got the original ones. I'm going to say for the last year and a half for the older ones. And then, of course, the new ones is just inked. But I think I'm going to empty them and pick some new colors. I'm going to do it. We're getting off screen, sorry. I'm going to do it. You also don't have to worry about your sports car being carjacked. Your pen might be pen jacked. Or yoinked. No, I wouldn't. I've thought about it. I've considered it. I'm reformed. I don't steal pens. Ink is more environmentally friendly for the most part, I would say. I mean, the quantities that it's produced in are fairly low impact, and the way it's produced is fairly low impact. What's probably the worst part is that we ship it across the world, but let's be real, it's cheaper to ship probably like thousands of bottles of ink compared to or More environmentally friendly to ship thousands and thousands of bottles of ink than like a Lamborghini or something. So I'm seeing here from my inks that these are all fairly shady, muted colors. I need some like really mega sheeners and some bright poppin' purples and pinks. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm seeing. It's easier to fit a pen show in a hotel than a car show. That is true. That is a very good point. I cannot argue with you there. Okay, we got a little bit more to fill up. I know it's been an hour, but we're almost done. So I'm going to just go for it. I'm going to just fill it up because I would like to complete this spread because I really like it. Okay, so I'm going to write some of your names because you're in the room. We've got John. We have Joan, which I thought of instantly because of the J. And then I'm going to switch pens. We're going to go... We're going to do a Doug. A Doug. And you may notice, oh my goodness, Gourmet pens, you are writing over all the other words. Yes. We're stacking doodles. That's what we're doing here in the room. We are going to do a banana duck and its petals and strings. Okay, so we've got banana duck written as an oblique. And we have strings and
no, he officially hates it.
Petals. We have we know I can't draw, or I would draw you a banana. I feel like it'll instantly devastate this. Oh, hey Cindy. Yes, you did get the Ferrarini. Oh my god, that is such a cute name. Is that actually what it's called? I don't know what the model is. It's like a Go or something. In case anybody's wondering, Cindy is a local to me, and we were at a pen meet in December, and I had brought some pens for sale. One of them was the Pininfarina Go, I think, but it really very much like a tiny little red Ferrari. Very cute. Very, very cute. I hope it is serving you well. Oh, don't worry. I have tons more pens for sale. Not because there's anything wrong with them, just because I literally have no space. Like, I don't even have space for another pen. It's on my desk, and that's where it stays until I find somewhere for it. Okay, we're doing circles for a bit. Oh, yes, we can pen faff and not drink and drive. That's a good point. I mean, some people pen faff and drink, which isn't always the best combination because you might drop your pens and then not worry about it. But that's okay. It's still a safer method. This is a really, this looks a little bit bland, I think. Just because of the colors I used. Okay, I'm going to fix that. Give me a second. We're going to fix this. I don't like, we're doing something non-monoc just because I need some intensity. Okay. We need some brightness in here. We've got that, and then I'm going to take this. I mean, not that this needs to be like a monoc exclusive stream, but I just want some deep saturation and joy in here. That sounds dirty. Deep saturation. I just want some intensity. It's not any better. Okay, so we are going to do that. We're going to get our little blower. We're going to do some blowing, which is things pen people say. And as this dries, we're going to just fill in the last little bits. So as I start finishing up the last of this spread, let me tell you things. Next Monday, I will be live. At least this is the plan. We are going to be talking about pens with weird shapes. So, I've got two pens in mind, which is the Den's Custom Pens Betalist and also the Mad Science Pen Company Beta R's. I don't have other weird shaped pens. Those are it, pretty much. But if you can think of any others, just so I can name them, I'm going to post this spread on Instagram and ask the question, but maybe you could put them in the comments just so that I can have other options to talk about. Unfortunately, I can't show them, but yeah, I generally avoid weird looking pens. Even though I very much appreciate when makers make weird looking pens because I want the options for everybody. And then the following week, we will be looking at the Stationery Universe collaboration pens. And we will also do on February 7th, we've got Fountain Pen News as the Gourmet Pens and Friends guest. We've got some serious feelings to talk about. It's not serious. It's just that I don't like feelings. And that's all I can think of. However, if you enjoy this, I know you guys are all really great. I'm going to just say because I have to, in case people forget. Please like and subscribe. It helps me out very much. And the algorithm is doing terrible things. It is showing me awful things, and we need to fix it. So I need to interact with goodness. So there we go. There's our spread. Maybe I shouldn't have added the pink. I don't know. That's everything. When are you a guest? Well, first of all, 10 p.m. is like 3 a.m. your time. But we'll make this work. We're going to do this. Ranga pens for weird shapes. Yeah. That would have been it for sure. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something about the monocs or just enjoyed my assessment of them. And if you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments. Not the chat, in the comments. And if you are so inclined, go say hi to Ian at a pen show or on Instagram. Okay, we're going to wrap up. Thank you very much, Simmerjeet. I appreciate that. It's 5 a.m. Maybe we'll find a time where you could be a guest and we're both at our best selves. Somehow. We'll do that. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night and day and all that. And take care. And I will see you next week for sure. And otherwise on the interwebs here and there, doing the stuff. Okay. Okay, bye.